Inside the Magic, show number 359 for February 19th, 2012. This week's episode of Inside the Magic is brought to you by Magical Travel. Find out why Adventures by Disney has been announced as the world's leading luxury tour operator. You can plan your adventure today. Will it be in North America, South America, maybe Europe, or perhaps a more exotic locale like China or Egypt? Whatever that destination is, Adventures by Disney is ready to take you there, and Magical Travel is ready to help you book it. You can call them toll-free at 866-207-8387 or just visit them online at magicaltravel.com to receive a free price quote. And be sure to mention Inside the Magic when you receive, when you inquire with them to receive your free Disney gift card for qualifying bookings when you book your Disney vacation with Magical Travel. And by Audible, get a free audiobook download and trial, access to over 85,000 titles to choose from for your iPod or MP3 player. All of that at audibletrial.com/inside the magic. And of course, thanks very much to listeners and viewers like you for all of your donations, one-time donations, monthly donations, or clicking through any of our affiliate links over at InsideTheMagic.net. It all goes to support the show, and I thank you very much for that. And now we'll start off the show with our trip around the world. So here we are, another Sunday, another show. It is show 359, and last week on the show, it was packed with mostly news. It was a very news-heavy show. I talked a lot about my own opinions about the news, but then there was a lot of news in general. This week, not as much news, but a lot of happenings, a lot of fun events and things that I'll be sharing a little bit later in the show. So let's blast through the little bit of news that we have first, and then we'll get into some really fun entertainment. But actually, before I get to all of that, I have something new to announce, which we just debuted a few days ago. It was at the beginning of this week. It's not necessarily completely Disney-related, but it is definitely something that I want to mention here and put in a plug for here. Basically, it is a new website that was created by myself and in partnership with the Dawes brothers, Jeremiah and Josh. I know you've heard Jeremiah on this show before. He and his brother Josh have been helping us out for quite a long time now, helping to cover a lot of events out in California, Disneyland events, and actually a little bit later in this week's show we'll have a bit from Jeremiah as well. But we have worked together over the last few weeks to create a new website for something else that we're very interested in. It's about movies, and we call it FilmGeekTweets.com, and it's kind of an odd name, I know, but basically the name says it all. We are film geeks. We love movies, and basically we're sort of wanting to review movies in a different sort of way. Our goal is to help you pick better movies to watch, because everybody has limited time in life, and there's no point in having you spend all of your precious hours watching really terrible movies. So instead, we're going to do that for you. We're going to watch good movies, of course, as well, and then we're going to review them on Twitter. FilmGeekTweets.com is the website, but you can also follow us on Twitter. Our main Twitter account is FilmGeekTweets, and then we each have our own individual accounts, which we'll be tweeting 140 character or less movie reviews from. You'll be able to find that. Let's say mine is Film Geek Ricky, and then of course there's Film Geek Jer, J-E-R, because Jeremiah wouldn't fit, and then Josh is at Film Geek Josh. Follow us all on Twitter, all 4 accounts, or whichever ones you want to follow, and then more importantly, visit the website over at FilmGeekTweets.com to, just kind of browse around, check out all of the reviews we've done so far. We're adding more and more each day as we watch more and more movies, and it'll just keep growing. We're working on some features for the future as well, to where you can submit your own reviews. That's coming later. But for now, it's just us three offering some recommendations on what you could be watching. We also have a really fun Spin the Reel feature to kind of recommend what you should watch today. You just head to the website, click the little spinning reel, and it will say, hey, you should watch this movie, and offer links to buy or rent or stream that movie online when available. So a lot of fun. Again, not always Disney related, though we certainly will review some Disney movies over there. Just a new fun website that we have put together, and I hope you enjoy following us on Twitter and on the website as well. So with that said, let's jump into the news here. And of course, I'm playing movie music here in the background. This is from area around the Great Movie Ride, so you might hear a wide assortment of movie-related music. There's some Disney, some not, but it is was played over Disney MGM Studios when it was called that. I'm not sure if this is the exact same loop that is playing, a music loop playing around a Great Movie Ride now, but it's fun, and I figured it related very well to what I was just talking about. Anyway, now with all of that said, let's move on to some Disney news here, where one of the most exciting things that's happening around Walt Disney World right now is Sorcerers of the Magic Kingdom, over, of course, at the Magic Kingdom Park out here at Walt Disney World. And Disney this week announced the official debut date for Sorcerers of the Magic Kingdom. It's been in testing for several weeks now, this interactive game around the park. The official debut date of Sorcerers of the Magic Kingdom is going to be just a couple of days from now. It's February 22nd. That is when any guest heading to the Magic Kingdom will officially be able to play this new role-playing game involving the trading cards and the spell cards and battling the villains and all of that. So it's, I'm going to go back and try it again. I know I talked about it a couple of weeks ago and had some mixed opinions about it, but I will certainly be giving it another shot a few days from now, once it is officially launched, to really get a sense for what it is all about, and I'll probably talk about that again pretty soon. But next time you're at the Magic Kingdom, check it out. It is, of course, included with park admission. Also, some brief news from the Magic Kingdom. A new Fantasyland expansion is certainly moving along, and a new piece of it has sort of opened up to guests. I use the word open loosely because it's really just the first piece of the new castle wall, the castle courtyard that's being built behind Cinderella Castle. The first piece of that has been sort of taken out into the public, and construction walls have come down around it. It's not terribly exciting. It is just a wall. It's a nice wall, but regardless, that is one of the first pieces of the new Fantasyland that is being debuted, slowly but surely over the next many, many months as we move closer and closer to its 2014 completion date, which is still a ways off, but little by little, we'll start to see new Fantasyland shaping up. All right, let's hop on over to Disney's Hollywood Studios now, where the American Idol experience this week marked 3 years since it has been opening. Paula Abdul made a appearance over at the park, although she is not currently involved with American Idol. She was there on Valentine's Day, and it sort of coincidentally worked out with the same time as the 3-year mark for the attraction, though I don't think she actually visited it. But regardless, all of that, right at the 3-year mark, Disney added 14 new songs to the lineup of songs that you can sing if you want to try to audition and sing in the American Idol experience. I'm not going to read them all here, but a couple of them include some past American Idol winners, Scotty McCreery and Carrie Underwood songs. There's Taylor Swift, Sugarland, a bunch of other people I've never heard of before, Pat Benatar, Kings of Leon, Michael Bublé, and quite a few others. If you want to see the full list of all the new songs and artists that are available for you to sing at the American Idol experience, head on over to InsideTheMagic.net for that full list. Next, here's a couple of, I hesitate to even call them rumors because they do seem very true, though they're not officially announced, and thus they are, in fact, rumors. But something Disney has been working on for quite some time, and this is actually something that was officially announced ish at one point. Disney's working on a system where you'll be able to reserve ride times, a fast pass of sorts, from home, and it's being dubbed the X Pass, though that may not be the official name once it does launch. And that all is definitely happening because it was announced at one point that it is something that Disney is working on. However, any updates on that are not clear yet, but the X-Pass system seems to be moving along, particularly over at Epcot, where many folks have noticed some work going on around the entrance of Spaceship Earth, as well as around the queue area of the Seas with Nemo and Friends, and many are thinking that will be some of the first X-Pass system bits to roll out, where you'll be able to set your time in advance as what time you want to ride the rides, and then show up and do it. We'll just have to watch and wait and see how that goes. And when Disney is going to be actually officially announcing, all of the details for that. It could be as soon as just a couple of weeks from now when they hold their next Disney shareholders meeting. It was at a previous shareholders meeting that they had mentioned this concept, so we'll have to wait and see if at that next meeting is when they'll detail it, or if we're still going to wait even longer. There's some future. This is really weird playing Superman music in the background here. I might try to find some other music to share here. I just feel like it's not all that Disney at the moment. But anyway, moving on. There is another rumor that has surfaced that in addition to this X-Pass system, there's going to be another sort of RFID, perhaps driven experience, if you will, that's going to be added to the parks in the form of a real-time virtual scrapbook where, let's say you go through the parks and you have a photo pass taken. Well, that picture could potentially instantly show up in your virtual scrapbook online, and if that happens, people may be following, your friends and family may be following along at home from a distance, can see what you're up to in the parks, and then perhaps even arrange for some special gifts or surprises for you while you're on your trip. Some may think it's a bit creepy that RFID embedded tickets, which we know Disney is working on, could potentially be sort of quote-unquote tracking you through the park, but at the same time, it's kind of cool, the additional things that Disney will be able to accomplish when using the latest technology here to sort of enhance the park-going experience. And I am going to turn down this movie music. Let's go with some Spaceship Earth music instead. It feels quite a bit more Disney. Anyway, moving on from there to some things that are not rumors, to certainly some more confirmed things. We've got a thing coming up in just 10 days. One more Disney Day, February 29th, is going to be the big 24-hour day over at Disney's theme parks at the Magic Kingdom out here at Walt Disney World, as well as at Disneyland out in California. And a bit of the entertainment offerings have been revealed for both parks. Some additional things that Disney's calling it a thank you to their guests is how they're really dubbing these days, and that they are planning round-the-clock Disney fun and entertainment for all those who attend. And it begins out here at Walt Disney World at 5:50 in the morning. Now, the park opens at 6, but at 5:50 in the morning is going to be a special welcome moment for everybody who is there. And it seems the schedule throughout the day is going to include, of course, the regular day worth of entertainment, lots of meet and greets, lots of parades, etc., all the usual things that go on during a park day. But then, of course, there's the early hours and then the very late hours where Disney will be adding a bit of additional entertainment. It seems that there's going to be an extra Main Street Electrical Parade at midnight that night. Magic Memories and You is going to be performed apparently very, very early in the morning, just at the conclusion of it all, about 5:30 in the morning. And I would imagine Disney's going to, I don't know that they'll update the Magic Memories and You just for the Leap Day occasion, but they may put an emphasis on showing photos of people who have been there for almost 24 hours at that point. I would think so. But there's only going to be one fireworks show, and that's going to be the regular fireworks show that happens every night, just regular old wishes. And it seems like the majority of the schedule for that day for Walt Disney World is just going to be your average ordinary day, just with some extra hours. And if you think about it, it's really not that many extra hours, because when there's extra magic hours in the morning, guests can get in perhaps at 7 or 8 o'clock, so 6 a.m. is not that early of a start. And then I think either last night or tonight was extra magic hours at the Magic Kingdom. It's President's Day weekend, of course, and with that going on, extra magic hours were all the way until 3 in the morning, so that's only 3 hours more to stay open until 6. So it's, 24 hours sounds like a really long time in the park, but in all reality, it's only a couple of hours extra at the beginning and the end. So it's nothing as incredibly amazing as it might sound, though it will be fun to be there at, a time like 4 or 5 in the morning when the park is never open. So certainly a rare occasion then. In addition, Disney's also planning some sort of dance party with a live DJ, apparently, at some point, probably in the normally after hours, the late night area, probably to keep everybody awake. So a little bit of extra entertainment, and maybe they'll roll out some surprises. Disney also announced, turning to California now, some extra bit of fun for those who show up extra early to Disneyland Park on February 29th at 6 a.m. A limited edition ear hat will be distributed. There will be 2,000 of those, and guests are not allowed to line up any earlier than 10 p.m. the night before, which means if you really, really want one of these 2,000 ear hats, you could potentially turn your 24-hour day into a 36-hour day or 32-hour day. Yeah, more like 32-hour day. By showing up as early as 10 p.m. the night before. Guests are being encouraged to park in the Pumbaa parking lot if you're showing up early, because there will be no shuttle service to the East Esplanade until 6 a.m. So be prepared to walk if you're getting there extra early. And so good luck if you're going to be hunting for one of those special ear hats, which just says One More Disney Day on a sort of a sticker on the front part of it. Keeping with Disneyland Resort, it seems like World of Color over at Disney California Adventure is going to get another update. Of course, it's previously had extra scenes added for Pirates of the Caribbean, Prep and Landing, Tron Legacy, and now at the Orange County Business Council, Tom Staggs, chairman of Walt Disney Parks and Resorts, said, quote, "You shouldn't be surprised to see something from Brave in the not-too-distant future," end quote. So apparently Brave, which is Pixar's next movie, going to be coming out on June 22nd, will have some sort of sequence in World of Color, whether it's a replacement of an existing sequence or a pre-show or an encore. That is not clear yet, but apparently Brave will indeed be part of World of Color. Back out here to Orlando for a little bit of news that is not Disney-related over at SeaWorld Orlando. It took far too many years for this, but SeaWorld has finally said that their Sky Tower, their very tall, sort of slowly rotating tower that goes up hundreds of feet in the air, is now going to be free for its park guests. You previously had to pay a few bucks to ride that every time, but now it is included with regular park admission, which is really nice because I never wanted to pay to go on that. I don't really like it to begin with because spinning and that sort of thing doesn't really do well for me, but regardless of that, it's free for those who want an excellent vantage point of not only SeaWorld, but the whole surrounding area. And also in Orlando, this is something that sounds exceptionally yummy that is coming soon. Again, not Disney, but certainly worth mentioning. Let's see if I pronounce this right. It's a Brazilian steakhouse restaurant called Fogo de Chão. Fogo de Chão. Something like that. Regardless, is apparently going to be a new restaurant on International Drive opening up in mid-March, just a few weeks from now. And it's going to... I have never heard of this restaurant before, but apparently it is the best Brazilian steakhouse around. It's sort of like the same type of restaurant as Ohana over at the Polynesian, where they continuously bring you food, except for this is Brazilian in nature, not Polynesian. Also very similar to Texas de Brazil on International Drive. And regardless, I will definitely have to go check that out when it opens in a few weeks. And here's something fun that arrived at my house the other day from Disney Movie Rewards that I thought I would mention for any Tron fans out there, and I will hold it up for those of you watching the video version of this show. It is my Tron Legacy 3D Lenticular 11x17 poster. It's been something that's been available on... on Disney Movie Rewards for quite some time, but it just dropped to only 600 points, along with many of their other posters have dropped in value, or rather in price, not in value. So if you're a Tron fan, you want to pick this up. It's fun. And of course, if you've been buying Disney movies and you haven't joined Disney Movie Rewards, you definitely want to check that out. Each one of your Disney movies comes with a little piece of paper in there that has a Movie Rewards unique number. You type that in on a website online, and you can redeem it for free stuff like this poster, or I got a WDCC Jafar piece, and there's a whole bunch of other things on there that are certainly worth looking into. And just to backtrack here for a second, for Kenny in the chat room wanting me to spell the name of that restaurant, it's FOGO DECHAO is the spelling, and they do have a website, and it is a chain. It's an international chain, but first one coming to this area very soon. All right, let's move on to the world of movies now, where there's a sort of surprising to me, in a way. Apparently Disney, in very early stages, is preparing a sequel already to John Carter, which of course is not even out yet. Andrew Stanton, the director of the first John Carter, along with co-writer Michael Chabon, anyway, are already looking at the second novel in Edgar Rice Burroughs' series, The Gods of Mars, in order to prepare it for a sequel. Of course, Disney's not given the green light for that yet because John Carter hasn't even come out yet, and they're waiting to see how that movie ends up doing. So depending on the success of John Carter at the box office, there may be a whole series of John Carter movies. Of course, if it completely flops, then there likely won't. I'm going to be seeing it just a few days from now in a preview screening, and I'll certainly offer my thoughts when it comes out on whether or not John Carter is a movie you should go see. Let's turn to the world of video games now, where there's a game that I talked about a few weeks ago when it came out, Disney Universe, and another update has been made available online, some additional downloadable content. This time it is a Phineas and Ferb level, of course, featuring Phineas and Ferb and Perry the Platypus, and all those characters. You can dress up in those costumes and run around and do all kinds of crazy things like you do in Disney Universe. So if you're a fan of the game or of Phineas and Ferb, you can check out that downloadable content. Also in the world of video games, there's a new Kingdom Hearts game in the works. It's Kingdom Hearts 3D for the Nintendo 3DS system, and a trailer that recently surfaced online showed off a bit of the Tron Legacy world that's going to be part of this Kingdom Hearts game. It's going to feature Korra and Sam and Kevin Flynn, and that's reason enough for me to get that, because I just can't get enough of Tron. So I'll definitely plus I like the Kingdom Hearts series. I really haven't played any Kingdom Hearts since the sequel, the Kingdom Hearts 2. There have been about a bazillion games in between, but they kind of went off on strange tangents, and the game didn't always sort of flow with the previous versions, but this one seems to be sort of back in its traditional form, and I'm looking forward to seeing it, particularly on the 3DS. In some merchandise news, something new is coming to Build-A-Bear that is most definitely Disney-related. It is the Muppets. For the first time ever, you'll be able to go to Build-A-Bear as of February 20... let's see. Whoops, got the date wrong. As of February 24th, just a few days from now, you'll be able to build your own Kermit the Frog or Miss Piggy, and they will be puppets that you can, of course, go through the whole Build-A-Bear process with, stuff it and all of that. And they're not bears. They're not bears dressed as Kermit and Miss Piggy. They are actual Kermit and Miss Piggy puppets. And they'll be $23, and you'll be able to go to any Build-A-Bear, whether it's a downtown Disney, out at Disneyland, or just your local Build-A-Bear, and check out the Muppets there. And speaking of Kermit and Miss Piggy, it was announced this week that coming up on February 26th on ABC, of course, is the Academy Awards, the Oscars, and presenting this year will be Kermit and Miss Piggy. Although while that announcement was widely met with praise, most are disappointed that the Academy still seems to be disagreeing with the idea that the Muppets should perform. After all, Man or Muppet from the Muppets film is one of 2 Oscar-nominated songs this year, but for some reason the Academy just doesn't feel like the Muppets performing on the broadcast is a good idea. I think it has something to do with the fact that they always like the original artists to perform and not anybody in their place, not actors, and in this case, the Muppets certainly would be actors. I don't know. We'll see if maybe they bend by the time the Oscars rolls around in a week, but as of now, you definitely will see Kermit and Miss Piggy presenting at the awards show. And online, if you're looking to win some stuff, D23 can handle that. Of course, D23, the official Disney fan club, celebrating its 3rd anniversary with a 23-day Twitter sweepstakes that actually began a couple of days ago on February 17th. Each day at 10 a.m. Pacific time, there will be a challenge, as they put it, posted on their official Disney D23 Twitter account, and they'll post something that they want you to take a picture of, and the very first person to take a picture of that, whatever it is, and send it to them via Twitter, will be able to win a prize. And the complete list of prizes is over at the D23 website. It includes pins and patches and shirts and other D23 collectible stuff. And then the very last prize of the whole 23-day giveaway is going to be a prize package for multiple prizes. So if you're glued to Twitter like I am and you want to win some stuff, then you're going to want to follow Disney D23 on Twitter for the next, 21 days now. And finally, we have a TV listing from Kirby over at bartlett-sloan.net/TV. It's coming up this Friday, February 24th from 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. on HGTV, and you've heard of My Yard Goes Disney. Well, now there's something called My House Goes Disney. It doesn't seem to be clear if this is going to be a pilot for a new series or just a one-time show, but the description reads as follows. A family that loves everything about Disney is given the opportunity to have their house and backyard transformed into a Disney-themed wonderland as the host and Imagineers bedeck bedrooms and other areas with beloved characters. It's going to repeat again that night at midnight, technically February 25th at that point, and that one definitely sounds fun. It's one thing to make over your yard into a Disney-themed pool area, but to have your whole house get completely made over Disney theme park style, I would definitely go for that. Well, my house kind of is a Disney theme park already, but that's beside the point, so I'll definitely tune in and check that out. Again, it's February 24th, 9 p.m. on HGTV. And that is it for your news from around the world this week. Here's a tip from Ollie, who writes, if you're shopping and you see an item that you're on the fence about or just want it already, go ahead and purchase it. You can return it if you change your mind. This is much easier than finding it sold out before you come back for it, or if your itinerary changes, you can't go back to where you saw it. This particularly goes for clothes. On a recent Walt Disney World trip, I saw some clothes that I liked at an Epcot store, just a standard Walt Disney World shirt, and I held off at first because I thought, hey, this is Walt Disney World. There are so many other stores that sell the same thing. I'm sure I'll see it again, but to my dismay, that was not the case. I could not find my size at any of the other stores throughout Walt Disney World, and luckily I went back to Epcot a few days later, and it was still there. Ollie, definitely a good tip. I've had many experiences where I wanted to buy something, and I thought the exact same thing, I'll get it later, and then I came back and it was gone. Since you can return stuff, you might as well just grab it, have it sent to your hotel room, have it sent to the front of the park, whatever. You don't have to deal with it, and then at least you know you have it, and if you don't want it anymore, just bring it back. Everyone else out there, email your tips to tips@insidethemagic.net. So earlier I mentioned that Jeremiah Dawes would be helping us out this week once again, and that is the case right now with something new that premiered just a couple of days ago at Disney California Adventure. It's a new show over in the Condor Flats area, just sort of near Soarin' over California, and it is called Minnie's Fly School. And it's something that we've been talking about for quite a while on the show. Back when months and months ago, Disney posted some audition notices saying they were looking for some singers/dancers to join in this new show, and I am going to share that new show for you right now. It actually made its debut on Friday, and something really unique about this show is that it features Minnie Mouse blinking and moving her mouth and all of that good stuff. She's not interacting with guests as Mickey Mouse has been known to do in the past, chatting with them. That doesn't happen, but it is sort of a talking, blinking version of Minnie that I believe is the first time Disneyland has had that. that. So that makes the show special. And yeah, so without further ado, let's simply head on over to Disney California Adventure theme park to enjoy Minnie's Fly School over at Condor Flats. Here it is.
Attention travelers, Condor Flats proudly announces the arrival of Minnie's Fly Girls Charter Airline with flight service from California to everywhere.
Come fly with me, let's fly away. You just say the word down, we'll be down to Acapulco Bay. Come fly with me, let's fly away. Come fly with me, let's float down to that's what we'll do. Baggage check it counter, check, runway check. Fly with me, let's take off in the blue. Such a lovely day. You just say the words and we'll be the first down to Acapulco Bay.
It's perfect for a flying honeymoon.
They say, come fly with me, let's fly, let's fly. Let's fly away, Ladies and gentlemen, how are you today? I hope you're staying warm. I'm Amanda. I'm Patty. And I'm Kate. And we welcome you to Minnie's Fly Girls Charter Airline.
When your spirit needs to soar, we will open up our door.
Minnie's Fly Girls. Fly with us and don't be nervous. We're the world's best charter service. Charter Airline. Board of cars and trains and yachts. Look for the wings of the coconuts. Minnie's Fly Girls. Charter Airline. The happiest flights on earth.
Well, hey, everybody, I'm Lee, and it's great that you all taxied over here to my airfield.
Wait, your
and then,
airfield? Wait, Lee, what is it you do around here?
Well, I am in charge of the runway and, taking care of anything you fly girls may need.
Oh, well, good luck with that, Lee. But first, we need to find out where this charter service is going today.
That's right. Minnie still has to file the flight plan, and she should be here any minute.
Oh, I know. Why don't we check in with all of these adorable people?
Good idea,
We're all
Kate.
packed for adventure. We can go anywhere.
Let's see here. You, Miss the beautiful pink. Yes, you. Where would you like to go today? Anywhere in the world. To Hawaii! Well, guess what? We fly there. We do.
And you, sir, the pirate in the back, where can we take you on your dream vacation?
Scotland.
Oh,
Haven't had that one before, have we?
No, but you know what? We'll fly there.
And what about you, ma'am? Where would you like to go on your dream destination?
Oh!
Nice.
Fantastic. We love it there, don't we, girls? And
We fly there! Would you like to fly around the world with us?
Oh, how many places can we go in a day?
in an hour.
In the next 3 minutes.
3 minutes! We gotta get going, where we're going, what we gonna do? We're on our way to somewhere, the three of us and you. Going somewhere,
on, here we go.
Attention Condor Flats, Goofy Sky School, making its approach on runway 2. Oh, great! That is all.
Well, looks like we have some time before Minnie arrives. Lee, did you do a maintenance check?
Roger that.
Oh, that's what my mom used to do.
Well, then, right, Patty, why don't you tell everybody here what your mom did in World War II? Her mom worked on B-19s.
Well, you told them. That's right. That's what she did. Well, when my dad was in the Air Force, he said lots of women worked on planes to help out America.
They really did. Women really flexed their muscles, and we're still flexing our muscles today, aren't we? Yes, that's right. We should all flex our muscles. Big ladies and small ladies. Everyone flex them.
Those are the biggest muscles I have ever seen.
Strong out there. Anything those factory gals post in the river.
Yeah, and they work together with the motto, "We can do it." Come on, shout it out with me, everyone. We can do it.
Yes. Nice. Well, we got to put all this girl power to work. Okay, we're going to sing a song all about Rosie the Riveter. And, so we're going to need to use our riveters. Every time we say the word Rosie, I want you to put up your riveters. Look, you got them. Put your riveters up. I have, right? You and as we say Rosie, we're going to rivet. Okay, 1, 2, 3, Rosie.
Excellent.
Wow, hey, Patty, how about the guys? What are we going to do?
Oh, you're going to do it too, but do you mind if we call you Rosie?
Okay. Wait, no. I'm going to be the Marine.
Oh, very nice choice. Handsome, sir. All right, well, there's going to be a little bit of dancing, too. I know you'll get it right away. But if you don't, you can just watch Amanda and Kate. And you know what? We can do it!
All right, Rosies, it's time to discover what you're made of.
And to follow your dreams and us.
She's making history, working for victory. Rosie, come on in the air.
Keeps you shopping out the sabotage. Sitting up there on the fuselage.
That little frail can do more than a male can do. Rosie, in the air. Yeah!
Rosie got a boyfriend, Charlie. Charlie, he's Marine. Rosie's protecting Charlie. Working overtime on the riveting machine.
Every man stops just to ride a scene. Rosie got a girl on the B-19. She's there for victory, love is for duty. Rosie!
Look at me dance.
Nice! Love and all peace!
now. I wonder what's up.
You know what? She's probably just circling. That Minnie loves flying more than anyone I know. Except for maybe her friend Walt Disney.
Oh, he is so nice. Minnie always puts him in first class.
You know, Walt says you don't even need a plane to fly.
No, he says all you need is your imagination and a song. When there's a smile in your heart, there's no better time to start. It sounds very simple. You can do what birdies can. At least it's worth a try. You can fly. You can fly.
I saw a peanut stand, heard a rubber band. I saw a needle that picked its eye. But I think I've seen about everything when I see an elephant fly.
Oh, she's talking about on the front porch swing. Heard a diamond ring. I saw a polka dot railroad tie. But I think I've seen about everything when I see an elephant fly.
I even heard a toggle and drop.
I went into a store and saw a bicycle shop.
Well, I didn't see that. I only heard. Just to be sociable, I take your word. The other day by chance saw an old barn dance, and I just laughed till I thought I'd die. But I think I've seen about everything when I see an elephant fly. And I think I've seen about everything when I see an elephant fly. Let's go fly a kite to the highest tide. Let's go fly a kite and send it soaring up through the atmosphere, up where the air is clear. Oh, let's go fly a kite. Let's go fly a kite. There's no telling the sky is high. Let's go fly a Let's fly!
I think that's Minnie's polka dotted plane.
You can see that far away.
Yeah, I got
Oh my
really
goodness.
good eyesight.
Attention, Condor Flats. Now coming in for a landing on runway 1. Minnie's Fly Girls Charter Airlines.
Come on, guys. Minnie's gonna be here any moment, and my runway is filled with people. Oh, the control tower can now lose control.
Oh, Lily, we've got a plan.
Oh, wait, so do I. Here we go. All right, let's try this,
We can
everybody.
get this tarmac cleared in no time.
It's so simple. You can wing it.
You guys are getting this
Hey,
It's pretty good. Oh, look at Buzz.
All right, we're gonna make it happen. You guys already know. How did you know this?
You guys know the drill.
Minnie's coming round. Hi, Minnie.
Why, hello, everyone. Oh, it's a high-flying welcome. Oh, that's what I call a happy landing.
Coming now.
And all my friends are here.
That's flying right.
She's really swinging.
What a lovely day for a flight.
Up and fly right. Straight up and fly right. You better get straight and fly right. Down, Papa, don't you go. Fly it down. Fly right.
I just love this part of my day, getting to see my crew and you. Are we all set for takeoff?
Oh, yes, Miss Minnie, checklist checked.
And double checked.
Aye, aye, we're on our toes.
I can see that. Oh, hello, Lee. What's the word from the control tower?
Flight path looks good, Miss Minnie.
Oh, wonderful! Hearing that makes my heart take flight. Come fly with me. Let's fly away. Oh.
You just say the words and we'll beat the birds down to Acapulco Bay.
Come fly with me. Let's fly away.
Come fly with me, let's float down to Peru.
Oh, that's what we'll do.
In Lava Land, there's a one-man band and a two-man sloop for you.
Come fly with me, let's take off in the blue.
Once I get you up there, where the air is rarefied, we'll just fly,
Once I
starry-eyed.
get you up there, I'll be holding you so
Oh my!
you may hear.
Ain't just here, 'cause we're together, weather-wise. It's such a lovely day.
It's such a lovely day.
Just say the words and we'll beat the birds down to Acapulco Bay.
Oh, it's perfect for a flying honeymoon. So they say.
Come fly with me.
Come fly with me.
Let's fly, we'll fly, let's fly away.
Let's fly away.
Let's fly away. Let's fly away. So, did we pass inspection, Miss Minnie?
With flying colors. Red and white polka dots, of course. Oh, everything looks so wonderful. Maybe I'll take Mickey up for a spin. Ooh.
Those two are just plain crazy for each other.
Oh, now can we go soaring over California?
Only after you get a few flying tips from Goofy's Sky School.
You know, Goofy's the only one I know who gives a crash course in flying.
Good one.
Thank you.
Oh, Minnie, that reminds me. You still have to file the flight plan and, well, maybe afterwards you could meet with some of our frequent smilers over by your private airplane. It'll be fun.
Oh, why, I'd love to.
Great! Thanks again, Minnie. Minnie will be back in about 5 minutes over by her plane. But until then, we'd like to thank you for flying with us. And we hope to see you again on Minnie's Fly Girls, Charter Airlines, Loveliest Lines on Earth.
Miss Minnie.
Attention all student pilots and flight enthusiasts. Enrollment is always free at Goofy's Sky School. Drop by later for today's lesson, how to fly by the seat of your pants.
And there you have it. I mistakenly called it Minnie's Sky School earlier. It's actually Minnie's Fly Girls Charter Airline. And that's the new show over at Disney California Adventure. And, of course, I was getting the name confused with Goofy's Sky School, which was referenced there, the attraction over in the Paradise Pier area. Kind of an odd show. You know, it's called Minnie's Fly Girls Charter Airlines, but features very little of Minnie, more about the Fly Girls and the airlines. Minnie kind of shows up there for one little number at the end and then heads on off. And a few minutes later, as they were saying in the announcement at the end, she does come back out for some meet and greets in her airline airline outfit. And, of course, the meet and greets do not involve talking with Minnie, though she does show up on stage and is blinking her eyes and moving her mouth when she comes back out for the meet and greet. She is doing neither of those things. She's just regular old Minnie Mouse, I guess saving her voice for the next performance. It's certainly a good mix of songs, an entertaining mix, but in my personal opinion, a little more Minnie Mouse for Minnie's show would be good. Perhaps it should have started with Minnie coming out and taking it from there, and then maybe she could have left it to the Fly Girls to finish it off, and then maybe come back at the very end for another performance or something like that. But regardless, live singing, the singers were good in tune. Not a live band. Live bands are always preferred in as far as I'm concerned, but I can understand why they wouldn't have done that there. But regardless, that is the show. It's being performed several times a day over at Disney California Adventure, just past Soarin' over California, kind of in between Soarin' and the Grizzly Peak area. It's a sort of a stage that's just off to the side, fairly unnoticed if we just walk right by it, but it is several times a day. This was the 4:30 p.m. performance just yesterday on its second day, so we'll see if the show sticks as it is or if it makes any changes in the future. But if you enjoyed that, you can see it in person daily over at Disney California Adventure. We do have another fun feature to get to here, but before we do that, I do want to put in a quick word about Lanyard Lab. If you've got anything to promote, whether it's a business, a convention, maybe you just need to wear name tags or ID cards around your neck, you can do that with a custom lanyard. Those pieces of materials you wear around your neck. You can customize one over at lanyardlab.com. There, just click Get a Quote, fill in all the details, submit your logo to us, any text you want to print on there, colors that you want to have featured, pick your hook, and everything else that's going to go on there. We'll email you back with a price quote along with the proof showing you what the lanyards will look like, and if all looks good from there, just place your order online or respond back with any changes that you have. It is completely free to preview, so check it out over at lanyardlab.com. That's LANYARDLAB.com.
Let's see what you're made of, program.
So, it is time to talk about something completely different from what we were just in. We were kind of in a 30s, 40s, 50s motif there with Minnie's Fly Girls Charter Airlines, and now we're moving to the computer era, where we're going to be talking about MegaCon, actually. I'm sure you've heard of the San Diego Comic-Con, the major convention that happens every year for pop culture and sci-fi and fantasy and comic books, of course, and all that is San Diego. Well, there's a lot of smaller cons or conventions that happen around the country, and MegaCon is the biggest one around here, my area out here in Orlando and in Florida. I think this is actually the Southeast's biggest convention of its kind. It's going on this weekend. It's actually going on right now, this second, as I am recording this. But anyway, I was there all day yesterday and attended some saw really fun, certainly costumes that everybody was wearing, all the attendees, and saw a lot of Disney connections as well. And that's what I want to share with you here on this week's show as our final feature this week. It all takes place, or is taking place, over at the Orange County Convention Center on the south end of International Drive. And one of my favorite things that I did at MegaCon this year was I actually had a chance to meet Don Rosa. And if any of you are fans, like I am, of Scrooge McDuck and Donald Duck, you would definitely know the name Don Rosa, because he essentially is the person who, quote-unquote, took over, didn't really take over, but has sort of taken on the responsibility of drawing Scrooge McDuck and Donald Duck since Carl Barks, of course, passed away, unfortunately, quite a few years ago. Carl Barks originated the character of Scrooge, and Don Rosa has taken it upon himself to continue in Barks's tradition and has done a really fantastic job. So it was wonderful to not only meet him at MegaCon, but I also bought a few of his prints of Scrooge and had him sign them for me and all that. A really nice guy. Unfortunately, he didn't have time for an interview because his table was just swamped with people who really wanted to talk to him and meet him and get artwork from him as well. So I can't share an interview with him, unfortunately. unfortunately, today, but it was wonderful to meet him there. Of course, as I mentioned, beyond celebrity sightings, there was plenty of other excitement that goes on at MegaCon, and much of it was Disney-related. There were a number of really amazing costumes that were around the convention that I really enjoyed seeing as I was walking around. C-3PO and R2-D2 certainly drew a big crowd. You know, I wasn't even sure if this was an official C-3PO sent by Lucasfilm or someone, or if this was just the guy who shows up at all the conventions dressed as C-3PO, and I'm pretty sure that was the case. Anyway, he was very yellow and shiny, and certainly did a really, really nice job with you know, being the character. Of course, there were plenty of other Disney related characters. You know, C-3PO is only loosely Disney related, Star Tours and all of that, but there was definitely you know, plenty of Jack Sparrows to find throughout the convention. There was a really hilarious Beaker, somebody dressed as Beaker from the Muppets. Of course, everybody loves Beaker. A really impressive Thor costume. Of course, Disney now owns Marvel, and Thor is certainly a Disney character now, if you will. And this guy who was dressed as Thor just looked incredibly like what's his name? Chris Hemsworth, I believe is the guy's name, the actor who played Thor in the film. Anyway, definitely a cool costume there. Of course, Marvel, a king of all things Marvel, Stan Lee was there as well, and he appeared on the floor for a little while, had his own Q&A as well, and of course was swarmed with people. But really another highlight, in addition to meeting Don Rosa, and this is why I'm playing Tron music in the background, was attending a panel discussion and Q&A with several of the stars of the original Tron film from decades ago, as well as one of the stars of Tron Legacy more recently. Those who were at this panel, and it was actually a Tron/Babylon 5 panel, because there was some crossover between some of these actors. So in attendance at this panel were Bruce Boxleitner, who you heard on this show quite a few weeks ago when we were preparing for the D23 Expo. I guess it's been a few months now. But he was there back at the D23 Expo last year, and he was there in person to answer some questions at this Q&A. Of course, he played Alan Bradley as well as the character Tron in both the original and in Tron Legacy. And then Cindy Morgan was there as well. She played Laura and Yori in the original Tron. Peter Jurasik was there. He played Crom in the original Tron. He was also on Babylon 5. And Stephen Furst was on the panel as well. He was only on Babylon 5. Had nothing to do with Tron. He was also in Animal House, which was kind of cool. It was about an hour long, maybe a little bit less than an hour long panel. And what I've done to share this week is chop down that hour long or 50-minute long panel. Most of it was talking about Babylon 5, which I'm sure there's a lot of Babylon 5 fans out there that would love to hear all of that. But for the purposes of this show, Inside the Magic, where we're talking mainly about Disney topics, I chopped it down to feature just the Tron and Tron Legacy related talk, and that amounts to about 11 minutes or so of that panel. So now I want to head on over to MegaCon to share that. Again, this is an edited version of that, so all the conversation, while it flows together, was not necessarily all exactly correct back to back, but it should all make sense, and I hope you enjoy. You'll hear from, again, Bruce Boxleitner, Cindy Morgan, and Peter Jurasik talking about the original Tron, Tron Legacy, and the future of Tron as well.
Ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, from Tron, the lovely Cindy Morgan. Ladies and gentlemen, if anybody, and we know you were not born yet, but if you're a fan of Animal House, we know. Classical actor and good-looking dude known as Peter Jurasik. And ladies and gentlemen, we know who this guy is, Bruce Boxleitner.
Yes, sir.
A lot of Tron fans were probably upset at your very small role in the Tron Legacy.
Oh, well.
In Tron 2.
That's not up to me. I was lucky I was there in the first place. Seriously, I mean, in truth, guys, I'm not a movie actor. I'm a TV actor. And all of us come from the generation where there was a distinct difference. It's changed now. I mean, Jeff goes back to that. Jeff's a huge superstar. I mean, he went on, he's had several Oscar noms and things like that, and he was obviously so great in Crazy Heart. But no, it's a different thing. Hopefully, yes. I've been told yes, but I don't believe anything in Hollywood until I'm actually doing it. So,
or cashing the check.
Or cashing the check, and even that's a risky thing. No, and I do want to clear this up because I was on the webs and stuff and interviews and things like this. Oh yeah, it's a done deal. It is a done deal. Whether it gets done, that's going to be up to the gods. I mean, it's in script form, working on it. Joe Kosinski's doing another film called Oblivion right now, and he is slated to do the next Tron film. Ideally, they wanted to do a trilogy. The original Tron, Tron Legacy. If you notice, Tron Legacy didn't end. And also, you don't get Cillian Murphy for free to do a cameo in the beginning of the movie. And, we all know Ed Dillinger and his son, Junior. And also, he came out in the arcade and said to me, "Alan, I'm taking the company back." That's not the final line in any movie. That's suggesting something more. And so I think that's the intent. Now, I don't want anybody to run around. Bruce Boxleitner said that we're going to do Tron 3. Something could happen. Anything could happen. Economy, you never know.
Bruce, can I make?
But I do know it's planned, and Peter wants to interrupt. But that's all I'll say. That's all. It's way above my pay grade to know if it's going to actually happen or not. But I was told verbally, that's their intent, and I'm going to be a much bigger part of it because he said, "Alan, we're going to bring the company down. We're going to take the company back."
Plus Tron.
And certainly Alan Bradley has a lot to do with that. And also Tron was turning blue as he was starting to go down.
Yeah.
See, you're smarter than you look. Anyway, I'm done here. Thank you.
All I wanted to say about Bruce's role being small, you thought his role was small. How did you like Cindy and ours?
And they were there, by the way.
They weren't there.
Anyway, who knows? But it was a delight, and I'm glad they're interested in continuing that franchise. But I think a trilogy is what they need to do.
Yeah, right. Okay.
I'm going to tell you, I flew in here on it. It's 10:35 in the morning to me.
He's been up all night.
I have no idea. I'll find out. The director and the producers are in Hawaii where they're shooting it, so all those auditions last week probably have to go. They have to sit and watch the thing. It's as good as anybody else's, I guess. But that's the way we do it. You go into a little room with one person and a camera, little camera on a tripod. And
you did that, Peter?
Okay, I can see the line being drawn. And I wore my Tron crew shirt. The Tron Legacy crew shirt. One of a kind.
As are you.
Anyway.
Next question.
Go. Yes, ma'am. Don't talk to me. Talk to her. Ask that question.
A prank?
Prank? We showed up to work. Prank. Come on, Steve. Speak up.
We really weren't a prank. We had a lot of jokes, but we weren't a prank cast.
Yeah, there weren't a lot of,
we had a good time, but we weren't
Disney
prank.
said there were no jokes. It was the most serious place on earth because they take this very seriously because it was the first CGI film ever made, and every suit in the studio was down there on the set every day.
On Tron?
So watching.
What show are we talking about? Jet lag.
You and I did together.
I remember that. Yes.
Big black set, big room.
Just like this stuff right here. Yeah.
Guys in suits from upstairs.
And Peter was the accounting program. Remember Peter? He got derailed by Flynn. And
I had my fight to the death with Jet.
And it's funny because in a strange way, Peter and I were hitting around town around the same time. I think we've discussed this before. We came to Hollywood around the same time.
Yes.
And actually, there's something else we did. Weren't we the same something else?
We did Scarecrow together.
Scarecrow, that's right.
contemporaries, but Bruce is much younger than us. much younger, actually.
That's true.
I think our birthdays are a week apart, actually.
Really?
Hey,
Anybody else?
What pieces of memorabilia do you guys have from the set, if any? And what is your favorite? What is your favorite memorabilia from the set?
What did we manage to steal before? That's what you really meant. What is this, Pawn Stars here? Well, some of our costumes made, there was a floating exhibit going around. Remember the, what was the company that Willis and Schwarzenegger and all those guys had? And Stallone? Planet Hollywood had I remember in Beverly Hills, had lunch there, walked in and saw my wardrobe in a case.
they all went for, the costumes went for $10,000 each.
They just found out, I mean, Cindy can weigh in on this because you and I we took some pictures in front of an exhibit they had at D23 with our original Tron tights and helmets and all that stuff. And they told me, remember they said they found it like them wadded up in the back of some,
Right. Well,
it was like shoved in the back, nobody had any idea they were there and they were the ones we actually wore.
And there were doubles and triples of these costumes.
Yeah.
Now, some are out on the internet, which I think is really weird.
What do you do when you get home with Bruce Boxleitner's tights? That's kind of scary, isn't it?
Don't ask this role right here. Do not ask.
But they have ideas, right?
You don't even want to go there because it's.
This for all the cast members out front and Cindy. What is the single defining scene for your character?
Oh God.
That's like asking parents, who their favorite kid is. It's really hard to, there's a couple, it's hard.
For me, I had two films that were very different. My first film, the scene has been done by the Family Guy, the Robot Chicken has done me. The scene where Lacey Youngerall walks past the pool, and all the guys stuck in their stomach. Even the Family Guy did it. That was a pre. Yes, because you're so happy to do that. That's why. But you go there. And in Tron, the coolest thing was that this character got to be a human. It was really hard to play this character because there was nothing done like this before. So I tried to pick up little bitty elements of what I would need, a two-dimensional character. So the fact that she got to be in love with and kiss both leading men is a defining moment, ladies.
Kissing Jeff Bridges, come on. You
20
have.
takes. 20 takes.
Yes. Me, I got one.
Well, you got it right.
And she went to lunch. Yeah.
Of all the various genres you've worked in, Scarecrow and King and Dandler and Babylon 5 and lots of other things you've done, do you have a favorite genre to act in, or is that just irrelevant?
The Western will always be my love. It is the root of all of these shows. It is. It's the story of the hero, the myth. And the American West is the mythos of, all of our roots, right? And I've always liked those characters. I was a little boy. Those were my favorite characters. And I've had the great fortune. I'm so proud that this year at the Western Heritage National Cowboy Hall of Fame in Oklahoma City, I'm being inducted into the Hall of Great Western Performers. That to me is a great honor. My mentor, James Arness, who I carried to his grave this last year, as I pallbearer, was one, and all the greats, Gary Cooper, John Wayne, you name them all are there, and my dear friend Richard Farnsworth. I mean, so many greats, and it's and I will add, my ex-wife Melissa Gilbert is in there for Little House on the Prairie, much deservedly, and that was the last time I was there. Was during her induction. But Sam Elliott and I were there together. Sam, I think, is a little familiar with the Western genre because he talks way down here. You never see his mouth because he's got that mustache going. But it's a tremendous honor to me.
Ladies and gentlemen, since Stephen is first.
And show 359, got to skip listener feedback, though I have a lot of it, actually, quite a few emails, and if I started doing it now, we'd be here for another, half an hour or so, and we're already running well over an hour, so we'll just go ahead and hold that for next week, along with something else that I was going to share this week, so I've already got a jump on planning next week's show, which should be a lot of fun, and I'm sure there's going to be plenty more this week that happens that'll be great to share on next week's show. As well, coming up this week, as I said earlier, the official debut of Sorcerers in the Magic Kingdom, so I'll try to get on over to the Magic Kingdom to check out what the official completed, well, I doubt it's actually completed, but the officially debuted version of Sorcerers is, and how it compares to the testing version that I enjoyed a few weeks ago. And then, of course, coming up in just 10 days will be the One More Disney Day Leap Day. It'll be fun to see whoever is going to be there out here at Walt Disney World. I will certainly be there first thing in the morning for the welcome ceremony and 6 a.m. I'll probably hang around for a little while, then maybe come home and sleep for a while and go through a normal day, and then go back overnight for some fun as well. So maybe we'll have to have a little Inside the Magic meetup at some point throughout that 24-hour day. I don't know, we'll see, and it'll be fun to see and compare what it's like to be in the park for 24 hours out here in Florida versus California. So all that excitement and much more coming up. Lots to share. Looking forward to it all. I do want to thank Magical Travel for sponsoring this week's episode of Inside the Magic. You can find out more about their services by visiting magicaltravel.com. Also, don't forget about that Audible trial that you can get over at audibletrial.com/insidethemagic. A free trial and free audiobook, and give that a shot. And visit us over at lanyardlab.com to see all the different styles and custom lanyard options that we have available. You can request a price quote today to receive a free digital preview of your lanyard design. Of course, between episodes of this show, be sure to visit InsideTheMagic.net. It is your source for Disney and theme park news. I should also have mentioned that I've already posted a huge gallery of MegaCon photos. Going to be adding more to that later, along with a video for MegaCon. So if you want to see even more from that convention, head on over to the website, and so much more: Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, etc. So that's it. Thanks to all of you for listening each and every week, and have a magical week. Bye.